Hey everybody, it is Ryan with the Milwaukee Business, local business Facebook group here with Al from the McLario firm. We are talking lawyers today and attorneys in the Milwaukee area, and we are very excited to have Al on with us today. So Al, I'm going to say hi to everybody.
Hey everybody, yeah, I'm Al Spiegel. We're at the formal name is McLario, Helm, Bertling, and Spiegel, but most people know as McLario firm, right downtown Menominee Falls.
Fantastic. Perfect. So the idea is we're going to do some questions and answers with him, which is be fantastic for all of us business owners. Doesn't hurt to have an attorney hanging out with us today to ask maybe some fun business questions from a legal standpoint. But let's kick things off with, when did the firm actually begin?
Yeah, the firm was founded by John McLario in the 1950s, so a little bit before my tenure started here. So I'm kind of the third generation of lawyers that have been that have run this firm. John began in the 50s, and it was the McLario office for about 40 years after that. And then Joe Helm and Mike Bertling, who are still here, took over and around 2000.
Is John still around, or is he?
No, John passed away 8 years ago.
Gotcha. I apologize for that. Sounds like he was fantastic with the firm, and I'm glad his name is still on it, which is awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. He built a great legacy. We've been tied into a lot of this. We've actually had a church get founded in our conference room, started within our conference room, and it's now Brookside Baptist Church down on Pilgrim Road and about Capitol Drive in Brookfield. So
yeah,
got a long tradition with the evangelical church in the area.
I know exactly what it is. I live in Tosa, so yeah, I'm very familiar with that. That's small world.
Okay.
Huh, cool.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
I mean, it is. Milwaukee area gets smaller the more I do these interviews, which is great. When did you specifically start with them?
I've been here 10 years. I started in July of 2009. I always counted by how many kids I had at the time. I have 6 kids now, and I just had my second when I started at the firm. So I was just getting the hang of the parenting thing.
I'm still in it. I got 3 myself, and they're all pretty small still. So 6, whew, can't even imagine.
That's why you see a big smile on my face when I'm at my office relaxing. My wife is home doing all the work right now, so I get to chill out in my office.
Nice. I hear you. Okay. When it comes to legal services, do you guys focus more specifically on the Milwaukee area, or entire Wisconsin or Midwest? Like, what's the stretch go out to?
Well, a lot of it kind of depends on the type of law. Certainly for personal injury type cases or estate planning, we can represent people all over the place because there isn't a lot of personal contact required for those things. If it's going to be something like a criminal case or a family law case where we're going to have to be traveling to a county courthouse, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for people to pay us to drive to Eau Claire for a hearing. So we tend to be the southeast corner in courthouse type law, but then all over the state with matters that are a little less constant contact with the court system. Like I said, like estate planning, personal injuries that way too.
Gotcha. Do you want to give a quick list of all the services you guys have, just so that we all would know?
Sure. Yeah, we do. We have an attorney here, Mike Bertling, my partner, who specializes in personal injury. We have an attorney, Dave Wells, who does post-death matters, so trust administration and estate administration. He also does transactional real estate, business, that kind of thing. I do estate planning and family law. My partner, Joe Helm, does estate planning exclusively, and then Gabe Arevalo, our associate here, does criminal, small claims, really kind of everything else out there, municipal tickets, DUIs, all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Cool. Sounds so what, 6, 7, 8 people total in the firm, or am I missing people?
Yeah, we got 5 lawyers in the firm, and then we got assistants and things. There's about 12 or 14 people who work here.
Nice. Oh, good size. Good size.
We like it.
Okay. Obviously, you guys have law degrees, which is your trade.
True.
Yeah, pretty specific there. What is it you guys, so you are a firm partner. So what do you like most about being in a partner position, sort of in charge, I would say, of a firm? I'm not as familiar.
Well, yeah, it's. I think it's really more the business side. The thing a lot of your watchers and listeners are going to be familiar with, just being able to kind of steer the company. I mean, this obviously right now is a real challenging time, and it's neat to be at the helm and see how the market's changing, because the market really is changing, and be able to respond to that and be creative and just sort of use that creativity in a way that a lot of people don't when you're just running a business day to day. So I really enjoy that challenge.
Yeah, and I definitely hope to get into some of that later on in our conversation, because we've actually had some fantastic conversations of businesses that are adapting, and listening to some of the creativity has been phenomenal. So I'm really excited
Sure.
about that part.
Yeah.
So we know, what you like. Is there anything that you find is either the most challenging or your least favorite? You can choose one.
No, it's something that's growing on me, but certainly the most challenging is just supervising people. That's always
Mhm.
it's something that I don't know, as lawyers, and I think in a lot of other professions, you do your profession and you're not trained to be a manager and to do
So true.
HR. And you
So
try
true.
to figure it out. You try to be a person of integrity and lead well. And it's something that you got to have some practice on before you get to getting good at. So I value my staff here a lot, and they're patient with me, and I try to reciprocate, but that's a challenge.
Nice. Good. Well, I know you guys do, as a firm, you do a ton of things. So let's focus more specifically on you when it comes to your abilities. You said estate planning as well as family law. Is there anything within those two that you feel like you do the best?
Yeah, I think that the fact that I've been practicing family law really for about 15 years really makes me good at estate planning, because most of the problems that we have in estate planning are family problems, whether it's divorces and looking out for those, or family feuds that spill over into probate disputes, or all those different things. I once had a professor who told me that all law is family law because that's where all the problems come from. And unfortunately, that is more true than I thought at that time. As a naive single guy, I thought, how bad can it be? But there's certainly a lot of family disputes that become very expensive and very problematic. And having that background really helps me to advise my estate planning clients well, and not just give them documents that they come in requesting, but help to see issues that they might not think about. Probably the most common is people who have kids in their teens or early 20s. I mention, oh, what are you going to do about grandkids or in-laws? And they say, oh, we don't have any of those. Well, they don't, not right now. But when I next see them in 7 or 10 years, that's going to be a reality. So we better get them prepared for it.
Right. Well, that's good stuff to think about. I mean, no one really thinks too far at all. Not every, I said not no one, but some people don't think far enough into the future to realize that that stuff's going to happen eventually, right? And then you
Well,
be
one,
prepared.
yeah, it's part of the dementing of a lawyer's brain that happens during law school. You sort of always look for what's going to go wrong, and you're very cynical. And my poor wife will say to me, I wish you would stop telling me what's going to happen, because you ruin everything. Like you throw the damper on everything. And it's not that I always expect the worst, but I always prepare for the worst.
Gotcha.
We live in a world where a lot of bad stuff happens, and if you're not
True.
preparing for it, look at this situation right now. A lot of people are hurt because they didn't have plans. Now, some people who had plans are being hurt, but good plans never hurt you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Fantastic. How are you guys acquiring? Now, let's do this in two parts. Pre-chaotic Corona time, how are you guys acquiring new clients, things of that nature? And now post-Corona, inside of it, what's changed?
Sure. Well, pre and still now, the fact that we've been around so long, is our best source of clients. I represent people who are the grand of people that John McLario represented in the 50s and 60s. So
That's cool.
that's really the best thing that keeps on giving, of having a firm that has a reputation, and we continue to try to foster that good relationship with people. So that's our main source of business, is just the personal referrals and the relationship we have with financial planners and other attorneys and judges, people all over the place. So that's how most of our business comes in. We do some TV advertising, we do some radio spots, we do some social media things, but that's the bread and butter. As
Yeah.
far as since the coronavirus has hit, I have become a lot about doing social media, particularly YouTube. I just finished yesterday, I think it was an 11-day series, one a day, answering commonly asked questions on estate planning. So people can just look up what's a will, what's the power of attorney, and get a quick answer. It's not real advice on what they have to do, but it's going to give them at least an idea of what they're talking about. Because I think, in my experience, when people come in for an estate plan, that's the most daunting part, that they really don't know what they're talking about. It's kind of like when I go to the mechanic to get my car fixed, and he starts telling me what's wrong, and I know he can see my eyes glaze over because I don't know. So
Agreed.
I think people feel the
Agreed.
same at an attorney's office.
Yeah.
Get rid of some of that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we can definitely include that in our description here today. When we post the video, we can you do a little shout out to your YouTube channel, might as well. I mean, we're here to help businesses. So if you're helping people with great questions like that, we definitely want to highlight that kind of stuff. And to be fair, I would like to know those answers too. I'm curious.
Perfect. I think I know that I've had lawyer friends who've told me it's educational because they don't practice in estate planning. So,
Yeah, I mean, if
you
you
know,
don't,
I did
that's right.
for accountants a couple of years ago, and it was about trusts. And there was another lawyer and I who were going, and the lawyer before me launched into all this high level stuff. And I could see that most of these accountants didn't know what he was talking about. They knew the tax side, but they didn't know the legal side. So when it was my turn to talk, I kind of said, let's just boil this thing down and talk about what this is. And I had several people ask for cards afterwards because, as professionals, we all respect each other. And I think sometimes we all assume that everybody knows everything about everyone else's business, and we just don't. I don't know what's going on in my dentist's office or my car dealer or whatever else. And
Exactly.
I want them to know more than me. That's why I hire them.
Bingo. Bingo. If I know as much as my attorney, I'm feeling a little scared walking into a courtroom. Oh man. Oh great. That was really good. Those are unique things that I love hearing about because it forces people to adapt. And you doing a YouTube channel is a brilliant idea. I never even heard of a lawyer even thinking about, oh, I should do a YouTube channel. Fantastic idea. Love it. Love it. Okay, let's shift a little bit now into sort of the business side of things. We're going to kind of talk a little bit more about like just general topics so we can sort of cater to all types of businesses, not just law firms. So in terms of
Sure.
the business side of things, what are some of the key performance indicators you guys track and how do you track them?
Well, and that's been, I'm a new partner here. So that's been something we've been working on tracking a little better because this is a firm that's been around for 60 years. And I think probably a lot of your wives out there who are in long established businesses would probably that you don't track. You just sort of keep on chugging and it goes the same one and everybody keeps getting their paychecks clearing and we're all happy. Working on tracking. We've been working on website tracking. We've been working on, we the work of a lawyer is based on having first appointments with people and convincing them that yeah, you need a lawyer. I'm the one who can help you. Here's what we can do for you, and just tracking where those people are coming from, how they're coming to us. So that's as far as where the business is coming from. That's how we're tracking, and then as far as know how much how much capital and effort into each area of law and how much revenue we're seeing from that we're frankly in the beginning stages of getting our hands around. Sort of embarrassing, except that we're not accountants, so good at the law and we're not so good at the numbers, so we can own that.
Right. That's part of finding good team members and all that stuff too. So, okay, fantastic. Love that. Um, let's do this part in two questions as well. So, for the business, what were some of the top priorities pre all this Corona stuff, and what has changed with the priorities now, if anything?
Sure. Well, I think the main priority pre was working on this transition. I'm just have bought into partnership over the last few years. So just working on transitioning to the next generation. The two partners that owned it 3 years ago in their 60s. I just turned 40, so we're working on getting that next generation of people in, and me building a team around me that's going to be there for the foreseeable future. So that focused, and of course, obviously, haven't given up on that focus. And as far as what the focus is now, it's really seeing how this is going to change the legal market, seeing how it's just going to change how the consumer thinks and how they get their information, and being trying to be a step ahead as best we can. And I feel like we're doing okay so far. Yeah, opportunities like this are a great opportunity that frankly we probably wouldn't have thought about 2 years ago, and we're glad we're doing them because this is where people are.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
could put our ads in the yellow pages and they would be who knows where. In recycle bins, I suppose, when I get mine, it goes direct to my recycle bin on my way in my garage. Not the best investment you ever made.
they haven't opened mine in a few years either. Fantastic. All right. So it sounds like overall, though, Corona hasn't changed too much of the entire business. It's forcing me to adapt a little bit, but general practice of law obviously hasn't changed. We've had some restaurants and things on here where that's changed everything they do, right? But for you guys, I mean, are I guess courtroom sessions still happening, or things like that happening, or is it
Sure.
mostly paperwork that's kind of moving back and forth?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of the courts have slowed down, and that's been the biggest impact on lawyers is that the courts have essentially taken a 2-month break for April and May, where anything that isn't urgent or sort of legally required to happen is getting pushed off till after May. So
Okay.
that's been something that we're adapting with, and some of our cases are probably going to bill and finish up a little later than we expected, but that's why you have a balance in cases so that you're not living and dying with those.
Mhm.
The other big change is that there's a the interactions with clients are different. I'm still in my office, my staff is still here, but we're not having clients come into the office physically anymore. So I'm literally going out to people's cars and handing them documents through windows when it's time to get stuff signed, which has been an adjustment. And I feel a little bit like I work at A&W when I go there, but nothing wrong with A&W. It's just a little different. Yeah, exactly. We just don't have the thing that sits. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
been an adjustment, and it's one of those things where my poor assistant probably has to explain a day, but they're understanding, and I think they appreciate safe and minimizing contact. But we're doing the same for staff.
Gotcha. Good. Okay. Are you guys doing any sort of promotions, events, deals, differences during Corona to kind of keep things moving? And if so, would you expand on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably the biggest two are, first of all, and this is frankly all the time, we do the legal consultation for just about all our areas of law. There are when you're given legal advice right off the bat, and we can't do that. If you want to talk about your estate plan or your family law case, we'll give you at least a sense of, can we help you lost to you. So that's deal number one. And then deal number two is, if you have a high school senior who is about to go off to college and you get your estate plan done, we'll do all the necessary documents to get them a health care and a financial power at no additional charge to make sure they have that, because that's such an important thing that we hear all these, not all, occasionally we hear these horror stories about high school seniors go off to college and get hit on their bike or get whatever the case might be, and the parents don't have any legal right to get information about them because that college man is an adult, and it doesn't matter who their mom or is, they're an adult, and unless they sign legal documents authorizing someone else to speak to their doctor, nobody can unless they go to the courts. So that gets to be a really messy situation, and
Now
we want to prevent it for our clients.
that was an important tip that I think was worth the whole interview. I had no idea that even existed. I
There you
assume
go.
parents always kind of like have the right, but I guess
Sure.
18
Well,
don't.
it's these HIPAA laws that are well-meaning and in many cases protect people who should be protected, but they all say that if you're an adult, no other adult can see your health care. You authorize it in writing, and that means if you are 18 years old, that applies to you too.
Wow. Shocking. So many things about attorneys. I like it. It helps me out as a parent too.
Sure.
Okay. Um, assuming things get back on track with the economy and everything with that in the next 3 to 6 months, depending on what they're talking about, regardless, what are some of the goals the firm has over the following 12 to 18 months that you think are realistic and hopefully achievable?
Well, I think the goal in any old business that's trying to transition to be a new business is finding things, making us efficient so that we can keep our prices reasonable for our clients. And the other thing is really pinning down what we're good at and focusing on that. And really, for each individual lawyer, getting their area of practice locked in and get them focused on that. And I guess in the next 2 years, I would like to be able to add a lawyer just to have another professional around here that for some more clients. We want to do that responsibly, though.
Would you prefer a lawyer in a certain field that does a certain practice or any sort of type?
What I would hope is that one of the current lawyers grows in one of their fields that we can kind of split off and give the other field to someone else who wants to take that over. That's kind of what's happening in my estate planning practice right now. It's taken off so much that I'm in need of someone to take on more family law cases. We don't quite have a full-time job waiting for someone, but it's getting there.
Gotcha. That's exciting. That's good growth, right?
It
That's what
does.
it's all
Yep.
about. Nice. Okay. given the time here, let's move into some fun ones. So that's business stuff. We want to kind of talk a little bit about the business owners as well and kind of get a little bit of feel. You've already answered a few of these, family and all that good stuff, which is awesome. 6 children. Wow. My goodness. If you don't mind, can you tell me how old the oldest one is? I'm curious.
Oldest one is 12 and a half.
Holy
Yep.
moly. My
He was
goodness.
actually for a while employed as the shredder at this office, and then I had to fire him because we found out that it was way cheaper to just get one of those boxes that they take out. So he's had some rough luck in his life already.
Let's toughen him up though, right? Give him some thick
Yeah.
skin. All right. Did you grow up in the greater Milwaukee area?
Yeah, I grew up in West Bend, so I've been here. I grew up in West Bend, went down in Kenosha, and then I went to Madison for law school. So I'm
Awesome. Badger, I like it. Same here.
here. Say that again.
I'm a Badger as well, so I'm happy to hear that.
Nice.
So awesome. The practice is in Menominee Falls. Do you live in Menominee Falls also?
We live in Slinger, so we live a little bit north, about 15 minutes north up the road. So it's kind of in between where I grew up and where I am here. So it's a nice spot for it. We enjoy it there.
Perfect. I know you don't get a lot of it, like nobody ever does, but what do you do in your spare time?
There's really 2 things. I fly. Got a pilot's license. A lot of flying as much as I can. My kids love to go flying with me, so we do that. And then the other half of it is I do a lot of ministry work. After my day job as a lawyer, I'm actually preaching at a church on Sunday via YouTube. So that I have my own little ministry thing going on, which I really enjoy. It's a nice way to some of the same skills I use as a lawyer, but used in a very different way.
That's amazing. Wow, those are 2 paths that stereotypically do not cross. So
Yeah, no kidding. You don't see a lot of lawyer ministers.
yeah, but I'm sure you deliver fantastic sermons and things like that because you already are talking a lot to other people. So
yeah, the public speaking part kind of comes. It's a different type of study, but I enjoy it.
Good. What's one personal thing about you that you think contributes to your level of success so far? For example, like a personality trait, maybe a habit you've developed, anything along those lines, a skill maybe that you would attribute that's definitely a huge impact on my success.
I think something that I've found and advice I give, I do youth ministry and youth mentoring at my church, and the idea of just being disciplined and not being disciplined when everyone's watching, but being disciplined almost to an absurd extent as compared to your peers is something that will never serve you wrong. So, I know when I started here, my secretary said, my gosh, in 3 years, and you come in at 8 o'clock every morning and you leave at 5 o'clock every morning, you're here the whole time, and I don't know what you're doing. And it's just that kind of discipline to force yourself into that really puts your brain in a situation where it wants to grow and it wants to be more efficient. So that's something that served me well, and I try to instill in my kids and kids that I'm mentoring.
Awesome. Yeah, that you really can't get as far as you want in life without good discipline. So that's amazing. Fantastic skill and also habit. I guess I would fall under both. Okay, last question, and then we'll kind of kick into a little bit of a send off here. But when you're no longer working in the business, what would you like to do?
I think my hobby's kind of covered that. I would love to preach and be in ministry on a more permanent or more significant level, and I'd love to fly around. I mean, the idea of having a ministry where I fly from church to church and preach would be pretty awesome. Although I got to be honest, I think that some of my friends who are in the pastoral ministry envy me because I get to see people who are a lot more open to my opinions than they are open to the pastor's opinions. I think when you tell someone you're a pastor, they go, "Oh, I don't need that."
Yeah.
When you tell someone you're a lawyer, they want to know what you think because they feel like they're getting a deal by getting it for free. So I get a chance to preach the gospel and people out there are listening.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, I was wrong because now I have another question that just popped in my head. What's the farthest place you've flown so far?
The farthest place I've flown, I just summer. I did 2 last summer. I did Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. We did a Gettysburg trip, and then I did Huron, South Dakota, of all places.
Huh.
Some friends from church who the wife grew up in South Dakota, and I offered to fly them home because it was like a 12-hour drive or a 3.5-hour flight. So they
cool.
took me up and I had a real good time flying to South Dakota. I
Nice.
like flying over South Dakota because in the event of an emergency, you could literally land anywhere in South Dakota and be completely safe because it's all a field.
Same with Southern Illinois. I have family down there too, and it's the same thing. It's just like
Yep.
just all this little flat land everywhere.
It's a beautiful thing when you're a pilot, I'll tell you that.
I bet. I bet it is. All right, Al, this has been awesome. I personally have enjoyed this a lot for my own selfish reasons, but I also think the fans will also appreciate the time you've given us. And I really want to give a shout out to you. And I want to give you a quick turn to give a shout out for the business or maybe your wife and kids, whatever you want to do, but you can take it away for a minute or two.
Sure. Well, I guess we've been talking about the business, so I'll give out to my wife. She's a homeschool mom who stays home with 6 kids when I get to sit in a quiet office and talk to adults on Zoom. So deserves it more than I do. And we always joke that neither one of us would ever want the other person's job. I think she'd be better at mine than I would at hers. I know she's potty training right now, so I'm going to try to stay at work for as long as I can today to stay out of that mess.
We are about to begin our last one, the potty train. So yeah, I have to agree on that. It's a fun time.
Yes.
All right, Al, it has been fantastic. Guys, everybody, this is Al Spiegel again with McLario Firm up in Menominee Falls. We're going to link to the website as well as to his YouTube channel on our description. Anything else, feel free to reach out to Al directly for any questions. Otherwise, Al, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it. Take care.
Yeah, take care of yourself. See you again.
All right, bye-bye.